What's up, legends? Welcome back to NewsDecoded, the only place where we crack open the hottest files and serve them to you raw and unfiltered. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button right now, because what you're about to hear is going to blow your mind. And if you're already part of the family, drop it in the comments so we know you're with us. Alright, buckle up, because today's story is straight out of a political thriller. Except it's all real, and it's happening right now. Listen up. There are secret, never-before-seen photos that Jeffrey Epstein allegedly kept locked away. Photos of none other than Donald Trump with young girls. Yeah, you heard that right. This isn't some wild internet rumor. This is coming from Michael Wolff, a reporter who's been absolutely relentless, digging into every dark corner of this story for years. And get this, while all this is coming to light, Trump is getting hammered by his own MAGA base. That's right, the very people who used to cheer his name are now turning on him. Megyn Kelly? She's got no sympathy left for Trump. She went on Piers Morgan's show and basically roasted him live on air. And if that's not enough, Trump's own attorney general just broke his silence about Epstein. The walls are closing in, folks. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, let's hear what Megyn Kelly had to say. She didn't hold back. She said Trump's team led everyone right up to the edge of the water, then refused to let anyone take a drink. That's rule number 1 of how not to handle a scandal. She called out Bondi for dropping that memo in the middle of a slow news summer, basically guaranteeing that the Republican base would obsess over it for months. And whoever thought the Justice Department could just sweep this under the rug? Megyn says they should be fired. No joke. She's convinced they had no clue how the MAGA base would react. And let's talk about that base for a second. They're fired up, more than ever, especially because of the 2 guys Trump put in charge of the FBI, Kash Patel and Dan Bonino. These guys were obsessed with the Epstein story. That's why Republicans were so hyped to see them running the show. But here's the twist. When you go from being a podcaster to actually running the FBI, things get real fast. Suddenly, you're not just talking, you're responsible for what happens next. So what happened? They worked with Bondi, realized they'd uncovered a mess, and now they're scrambling. There was a way to handle this. Just hold a massive press conference, answer every question, and move on. Sure, the hardcore conspiracy theorists would never be satisfied, but most people pushing the Epstein story, like 80%, would have said, "All right, we got what we came for." But nope, they fumbled it. And now, the smart Republicans, they're breaking ranks. They know Trump's power isn't forever. Whether you think he'll run in 2028 or not, the truth is, time catches up with everyone, even Donald Trump. So, some Republicans are trying to drive a wedge between Trump and his base, hoping to save themselves before the ship sinks. But honestly, they're not being that clever. Here's a perfect example. Someone got asked about Trump and Epstein, and he totally dropped the ball. Trump claimed Epstein stole young women who worked at his Mar-a-Lago spa, including Virginia Giuffre, one of the most famous Epstein accusers who tragically died by suicide earlier this year. The response? I take Trump at his word. He didn't visit Epstein Island. Really? That's the best you've got? Trump's just trying to make sure the files get released the right way, but his team overpromised without knowing what was actually in those files. Now he's stuck trying to clean up the mess. And let's be real, are we supposed to just trust Trump? Has he never lied before? Come on, folks, this is politics, not story time. Now, let's get to the real bombshell. Michael Wolff on the Midas Touch podcast dropped this. After Trump got elected, Wolff was talking to Epstein, who suddenly said, "Wait, I gotta show you something." Epstein went to his safe, pulled out a stack of Polaroids and spread them out like playing cards. And who was in those photos? Donald Trump with girls of uncertain age at Epstein's Palm Beach house. Wolff remembers 3 photos crystal clear. two with topless girls sitting on Trump's lap, and a third where Trump had a stain on his pants and the girls were pointing and laughing. Wolf says he's seen those photos more than once, and he's pretty sure the FBI took them when they raided Epstein's house. But let's be honest, if the FBI has those photos, we're never going to see them. They're locked away, buried deep, and that's exactly why Trump is fighting so hard to keep this stuff hidden from the public. And then there's Bondi, blowing up Trump's cover. Trump keeps shouting, "It's all a hoax, Obama did it, Hillary did it, Comey did it." But Bondi filed a memo saying public interest in the Epstein and Maxwell cases has exploded since July 6, 2025, after the government's review. She literally said there's clear public interest in Epstein and Maxwell's crimes. Wait, crimes? I thought Trump said it was all a hoax. Now he's twisted himself into a pretzel, and Bondi's just saying out loud that this stuff is real and Trump is implicated. But let's not forget the real victims here, the survivors of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. These are real people who've been hurt, and now Trump and the Republican Party are re-traumatizing them by calling it all a hoax and pretending it never happened. One survivor said, "I was forced into Jeffrey's room to be raped by Ghislaine. She's as responsible, if not more, than Jeffrey. I want her behind bars for life because she's that dangerous. The public isn't safe with her on the street. And here's the thing, this isn't just about politics. This is about justice. This is about truth. And it's about making sure the people in power don't get away with hiding the facts from the public." So, if you think this needs to be investigated, drop a blue heart in the comments. If you're as fired up as we are, share this video, tag your friends, and let's get the truth out there. This is Dark Corners on NewsDecoded, and we're not stopping until every secret is out in the open. Smash that subscribe button, help us hit that 700,000 milestone, and stay tuned, because the next file might be even hotter.